Okay, so today I will read the next page. I think last time we stopped here. Narcissism is, in a sense, the converse of an habitual sense of sin. It consists in the habit of admiring oneself and wishing to be admired. Up to a point, it is, of course, normal and not to be deplored. It's only in its excesses that it becomes a grave evil. In many women, especially rich society women, the capacity for feeling love is completely dried up and is replaced by a powerful desire that all men should love them. When a woman of this kind is sure that a man loves her, she has no further use for him. The same thing occurs, though less frequently, with men. The classic example is the hero of Liaison's danger uses. When vanity is carried to this height, there is no genuine interest in any other person, and therefore no real satisfaction to be obtained from love. Other interests fail even more disastrously. A narcissist, for example, inspired by the homage paid to great painters, may become an art student, but as painting is from him a mere means to an end, the technique never becomes interesting, and no subject can be seen except in relation to self. The result is failure and disappointment, with ridicule instead of the expected adulation. The same thing applies to those novelists whose novels always have themselves idealized as heroines. All serious succeeding in work depends upon some genuine interest in the material with which the work is concerned. The tragedy of one successful politician after another is the gradual substitution of narcissism for an interest in the community and the measures for which he stands. The man who is only interested in himself is not admirable, and is not felt to be so. Concretely, the man who is so concerned with the worry that it shall admire him is not likely to achieve his object, but even if he does, he will not be completely happy, since human instinct is never completely self-centered, and the narcissist is limited himself artificially just truly as it is the man dominated by a sense of sin. The primitive man might be proud of being a good hunter, but he also enjoys the activity of the chase. Vanity, when it passes beyond the point, killing pleasure in every activity for its own sake, and thus leads inevitably to listlessness and boredom. Often its source is diffidence, and its cure lies in growth of self-respect, but this only to be gained by successful activity inspired by objective interests. The megalomaniac differs from the narcissist by the fact that he wishes to be powerful rather than charming, and seeks to be feared rather than loved. To this type belong many lunatics and most of the great men in history. Love of power, like vanity, is a strong element in normal man nature, and as such is to be accepted. It becomes deplorable only when it is excessive or associated with an insufficient sense of reality. Where this occurs, it makes a man unhappy or foolish, if both, not both. The lunatic who thinks he is a grounded head may be, in a sense, happy, but his happiness is not a kind that any sanity was psychologically of the same type as the lunatic. Though he possessed the talent to achieve the lunatic dream, he could not, however, achieve his own dream, which enlarged its scope as his achievement grew. When it became clear that he was the greatest conqueror known to fame, he decided that he was a god. Was he a happy man? His drunkenness, his furious rage, his indifference to women, and his claim to divinity suggest that he was not. There is no ultimate satisfaction in the cultivation of one element of human nature at the expense of all the others, nor in view all the world as raw material for the magnificence of one's own ego. Naturally, the nomadic, whether insane or nominally sane, is the sane or sane is the product of some excessive humiliation. Napolo suffered at school from inferiority to his schoolfellows, who were rich aristocrats. While he was a penurious scholarship boy. Penurious He was a penurious scholarship boy. When he allowed the return of the image, he had the satisfaction of seeing his former fellowship bowing down before him. What bliss! Yet it led to the wish to obtain a similar satisfaction at the expense of the Caesar, and this led to Saint Helena. Since no man can be omnipotent, a life dominated wholly by love of power can hardly fail, sooner or later, to meet with obstacles that cannot be overcome. The knowledge that this is so can only be prevented from obtruding unconsciously by some form of lunacy. Though if a man is sufficiently great, he can imprison or execute those who point this out to him. Repressions in the political and in the psychological sense thus go hand in hand, and whether psychoanalytic repression in any marked form take place, this is no genuine happiness. Power keep within its power bounds may add greatly to happiness, but as the sole end of life, it leads to disaster. Inwardly, if not outwardly, the psychological cause of unhappiness is clear. Many and various, but all have something in common. The typical unhappy mind is one who, having been deprived in youth of some normal satisfaction, has come to value this kind of satisfaction more than any other, and has therefore given to his life a one-side direction, together with its quite undue emphasis upon the achievement as opposed to the activities connected with it. There is, however, a further development which is very common in the present day. A man may feel so complete towards that he seeks no form of satisfaction, but only distraction and oblivion. He then becomes a devotee to pleasure, that is to say, he seeks to make life bearable by becoming less alive. Drunkenness, for example, is temporary suicide. The happiness that it brings is merely negative. Momentary cessation of unhappiness. Cessation of unhappiness. The narcissist and the megalomaniac believe that happiness is possible, though they may adopt mistaken means of achieving it. But the man who seeks intoxication in whatever form has given up hope, except in oblivion. In his case, the first thing to be done is to persuade him that happiness is desirable. Men who are unhappy, like men who sleep badly, are always proud of fact. Perhaps their pride is like that of the fox who had lost their tail. If so, the way to cure is to point out to them how they can grow a new tail. Very few men, I believe, will deliberately choose unhappiness if they see a way of being happy. I do not deny that such men exist, but they are not sufficiently numerous to be important. I shall therefore assume that the reader would rather be happy than unhappy. Whether I can help him to realize this wish, I do not know, but at any rate the attempt can do no harm.